Peace, everyone. This is Nikisha with another episode for our essential oil reading. And so we're going to do this one a little differently. I apologize that it has taken me so long to release this video. I really believe in self-care. I also believe deeply in not projecting emotions, especially if we're talking about clearing and cleansing emotional patterns. For me to come in a space where that is not exercised totally defeats the purpose of that. And so I have been using most of the week to ensure that I am grounding myself and I'm practicing self-care. And so I will that you are making that decision for yourself too. So welcome to Favorite Flow Restorative, where harmony is unleashed, mind, body, and soul. We're going to do this a little differently in kind of a meditative way for each of the chakra systems. We have essential oil blends so that if there is a targeted area that you want to work with in order to release emotional patterns, there's going to definitely be an opportunity for that. Please look down in the description box to see the recipes for each one of the chakra systems. And I will that part is very helpful and useful for you. So let's get started. I invite you to do a body scan, starting with above the top of your head, giving attention to your scalp, your forehead, your cheeks, your ears, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your tongue, your throat, giving attention to your heart space, going down a little further to your upper abdomen, checking in, recognizing how it feels, down to the navel, further down to the pelvic area, and checking in on each one of your legs, knees, and all the way down to your feet. All the way up to the tip of your toes. Now, with the realization of the state of your body currently, let's look at which chakra systems are needing the most attention. So let's start with, since we started with the top of the head, I want you to think back to whenever you were looking at your scalp, your crown. So your crown is specifically connected to spiritual connection and enlightenment. And so this week we spoke about grounding. So I hope that you had a chance to ground. So for some, this may just be giving yourself an opportunity just to sit down. Maybe it's meditation for you. Maybe it's walking out in nature. Maybe it's just being outside. What is grounding for you? What brings you back into your body? Because for me, being in my head means that I'm not grounded. And usually being in my head means that I'm either in the past or I'm in the future. I'm not really in the present moment. And so to me, grounding is the opportunity to be in the present moment. And so with that said, as we think of the crown chakra, how are we able to ground to create more of a connection with spirit and become more enlightened with our current circumstances, with how our life is currently going? Because truly our outer reality is a reflection of our inner reality. And so in the crown chakra, really taking accountability for that. What are the emotional patterns that need to be released that may be connected to that? A lack of spiritual connection, maybe a lack of feeling enlightened. And so the two cards that we pulled this week were Lavender and Ylang Ylang. And so using lavender applied to the crown chakra, which would be just the head. So I would say, sometimes I just put it on my scalp, in all honesty. Or either the hairline. I may put it around my hairline. So the lavender enables us to foster a sense of peace and connection to the divine. So what spiritual connection does mean for me is being able to have a peace of mind, right? So that's what lavender comes to cultivate for the crown chakra. Ylang Ylang actually promotes spiritual harmony and emotional balance. And so if there's anything that is out of connection spiritually, it promotes being able to bring that back into a connected space and being able to have the ability to balance out those emotions. And so the blend for that is a relaxation blend, and it can be used during quiet times or during spiritual practices. And so this blend contains 3 drops of lavender, 2 drops of Ylang Ylang, and if you'd like, if you've got some sandalwood on you, you can add a drop of sandalwood for spiritual grounding. And as far as oils, my favorite carrier oils tend to be jojoba oil and fractionated coconut oil. So feel free to use the oil that resonates most with you or that you like the best. Okay, so the next place we went to was the forehead, and in between your eyebrows lies the third eye chakra, and it's in charge of intuition and insight. And so after a full week, sometimes, our intuition has been working overtime, right? And we want to continue to receive insight. And so in order to promote relaxation and further clarity, we can use lavender for that, because that's what it promotes. And it also promotes and aids in intuitive insights. And then following it up with Ylang Ylang allows us to open the mind to new perspectives and a deeper understanding. So during a full day or a full week, sometimes I feel like our third eye can get a little wonky because there's so much being thrown at us. Sometimes it can be very overwhelming. Sometimes we can feel overwhelmed with responsibilities, or just our calendar is full, or we might be just facing a lot of deadlines, or our bodies just may be tired and in need of grounding space in order just to reset and clear itself. So Ylang Ylang opens our mind to new perspectives of living and being, and also of understanding differently, or understanding more in a deeper way the truths of our existence, the truths of how our inner world actually reflects what is happening in our outer world, right? So the next chakra system is the throat chakra. Oh, I forgot to talk about the blends. So this blend can be used to enhance focus and clarity. So specifically for the third eye, you can take 3 drops of lavender, 2 drops of Ylang Ylang, and if you happen to have some frankincense, you can put 1 drop in there for spiritual awareness. Okay? All right. So let's move on to the next chakra system, which is the throat. And the throat chakra is responsible for communication and expression. So this is how we express ourselves. This is the way that we communicate. And listen, they say that power in the tongue, right? And so as we think about when we're doing our body scan at the very beginning, whenever we talked about the mouth and the tongue, lavender helps to calm nerves. And so sometimes we say things that we don't mean because maybe in that particular moment our emotions were unbalanced. Or maybe we were feeling very passionate, but sometimes in a moment of passion we may do or think or say something that we don't mean. It starts as a thought, but what do we do with it? Lavender helps in calming nerves and facilitating open communication. And so the latter part of that is maybe sometimes in passionate moments we tend to shut down. And that tends to be what I do. You won't really see me kind of going off. Usually you'll see me shut down. But shutting your throat down is not the answer either, because then that creates space to fester. And it becomes like, it begins to snowball, all of those emotions. And what happens if it continues to collect? At some point, there has to be a releasing of all of those emotions. And so if we're specifically talking about the throat chakra, then lavender facilitates opening that back up. Even when you feel misunderstood, even when you feel like you're not being heard. Okay? The Ylang Ylang, it encourages authentic expression. So how many of us feel as though we can't express ourselves authentically? And so Ylang Ylang assists with that, and emotional honesty. Because our emotions are our truth. Are our emotions always, do they always make sense? Probably not. Sometimes they don't. But our emotions are our truth. And so in order to move through these emotional patterns that happen with the throat chakra, using lavender and Ylang Ylang will not only help to calm the nerves, facilitate open communication, encourage authentic expression, but also give us space to express ourselves honestly through our emotions. And so we would apply this to the throat while practicing vocal exercises or speaking affirmations. And the blend that can be used is 2 drops of lavender, 3 drops of Ylang Ylang, and 1 drop of peppermint. Okay, moving on to the heart chakra. So that's exactly what it means, and it's also in the heart area, right? And it's the seat of love and compassion and true emotional balance. And so if you were struggling with love, lack of love, if you were struggling with a lack of compassion, or felt as though others weren't being compassionate towards you, or if you're just simply striving for emotional balance just to even that thing out after a full week, this is a wonderful space to use lavender and Ylang Ylang. So for lavender, it opens the heart to self-love, because we can't give anything that we don't give to ourselves. So it begins with us. So lavender assists us to open ourselves, open up our heart to loving ourselves and being compassionate to ourselves. Because whatever we give to ourselves, only through the overflow can we give to others. Okay, so as we work with the heart, it's really about seeing what is it that I need first. And then recognizing that what I need, yes, I need it first. And anything that I have extra and left over then can go to others. I'm not going to be self-sacrificing or dimming my shine in order to open my heart and give compassion to others, right? And then the Ylang Ylang, it promotes deep emotional connection and joy within your relationships. So again, the lavender allows us to give that love and compassion to ourselves, while the Ylang Ylang promotes that deep emotional connection that happens as we're opening it up ourselves to self-love and compassion, and then it overflows into the relationships that we have with each other. Okay? So we can use these oils to enhance feelings of love and compassion. So the blend for this one is 3 drops of lavender, 4 drops of Ylang Ylang, and I love this, and 2 drops of rose if you have it, and the rose adds unconditional love to your blend. So that is the heart chakra. Moving on to the solar plexus. So the solar plexus can be found if you're at your heart space. You go to your upper abdomen, and this is the seat of confidence, willpower, and personal power. Okay? And so if this week you were lacking confidence, you were lacking the will, you were lacking motivation, you were feeling as though things were outside of your control, solar plexus. So what does lavender do for these spaces? Well, it reduces stress and anxiety, because when you feel like you're not motivated, when you feel like things are out of control, or things are out of your locus of control, or out of, you're lacking power over yourself, or, that can definitely bring on stress and cause anxiety, because at that point you're not really feeling safe, right, with yourself. And so if you're not feeling safe with yourself, you most certainly aren't feeling safe with other people. And then what does that do when we don't feel safe? Well, then we lack the self-esteem in order to do whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing in that moment, right? And so that's what lavender assists us with. And then the Ylang Ylang actually assist with boosting our self-confidence and our emotional strength. And so putting those two together creates a reduction in stress and anxiety. It fosters self-esteem. It boosts our self-confidence and our emotional strength. And so we can use this blend while focusing on affirmations related to personal power. So whatever affirmation makes you feel powerful, what are the things that you need to hear from yourself? What are the things that you need to tell yourself? Right? So the blend for this is 2 drops of lavender, 3 drops of Ylang Ylang, and 2 drops of bergamot to uplift your energy. And where you're going to put these are on, you can do pulse point applications. So anywhere where you can find a pulse, whether it's your wrist, whether it's your neck, like wherever you can find a pulse, that's a wonderful place to put it, or put it on the solar plexus itself, which is the upper abdomen. Okay, moving on to the sacral chakra. So moving lower, let's say around the navel. We'll just target the navel. And so this space is, what functions within this space is emotional fluidity, creativity, and intimacy. Okay, so if you weren't feeling emotionally fluid this week, this may be a space that you need to take a look at. If you're lacking in creativity, this would be a great space to look at. Or if you feel like you're lacking in intimacy, it's really difficult to trust others, or feel like you're connected. You might be feeling disconnected. And if so, then lavender assists with soothing feelings of emotional overwhelming. Like if you're feeling just emotionally overwhelmed, like it's just way too much, this is a wonderful blend for that space. And it also encourages creative flow if you are feeling creatively blocked. Ylang Ylang enhances feelings of pleasure, intimacy, and joy. And so do you see how it brings it all together? So it not only takes down feeling just like emotionally overwhelmed, it increases the creative flow that allows you to feel a lot lighter. And feeling creative always feels wonderful because all of us have our own version of art that we bring to planet Earth. And so whatever that is, whenever we're able to just engage in that, it just takes life to another level. And then the Ylang Ylang takes that to feelings of pleasure and intimacy. So now we have a feeling of oneness and connectedness and joy. Okay. So the application, they're encouraging putting this specific one maybe in a bath, definitely being able to apply it specifically to the sacral chakra, but you can also put it into a warm bath to promote relaxation and full emotional release. And so the blend that is associated with that one is 3 drops of lavender, 3 drops of Ylang Ylang, and 1 drop of sweet orange for creativity. Okay, so the last space that we are going to cover is being able to use the lavender and Ylang Ylang essential oils for the root chakra. And so if we think of anything below the pelvis is considered your root. And so this space is specifically dedicated to grounding, stability, and security. So as we're talking about lavender and Ylang Ylang this week, we were specifically talking about grounding. So we've spoken enough about grounding, but what about stability? Because that comes from this space too. So if there are things that feel like they're unstable right now, this is a space to definitely concentrate on. If you're feeling like you're lacking security in some way, shape, or form, this is the space that you want to, cultivate right now. So how does lavender cultivate this? Well, it assists us with easing anxiety and promoting a sense of safety. And so one thing that I did is I actually changed out my soap to include like lavender soap. So every time I wash my hands after going to the restroom, I get a sense of that, that sense of safety, that ease of anxiety, right? If it's present, it's an opportunity. So sometimes it doesn't mean that we have to necessarily get essential oils. Maybe it's just the scent. And maybe through everyday things that we do, we can just apply these scents as contingency reminders to our body that we are good, we are safe, we are loved, whatever it is that you need to tell yourself, right? And then the Ylang Ylang helps us to release fear. So it can be very uncomfortable feeling unstable, and it can also feel very uncomfortable feeling like, as an awful sense of insecurity, right? And so Ylang Ylang comes to assist us with that, and it brings the emotional balance that we need. And so what we can do is massage this into the feet or into the base of the spine. And so the grounding blend is 2 drops of lavender, 2 drops of Ylang Ylang, and 2 drops of Vetiver. Okay? These are specifically for lavender, and these are what I got out of the meditational journal, my aromatic meditational journal. That is also, there's a link located in the description box if you're interested in getting you a copy. But let me leave you with this. And you take what resonates with you. So I embrace unconditional love and acceptance and release criticism of self and others. And the other affirmation is, today I release the fear of detachment. I embrace connection and oneness. Okay? So whichever one resonates with you, or if both do, I will that all of this information is helpful to you on your journey. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, my name is Nikisha. This is Favor Flow Restorative, Harmony Unleashed, Mind, Body, and Soul. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and we'll speak soon. Peace.